I heard you've been listening to a lot of 100 Gex over lockdown.
Oh yeah.
Right, yeah.
Do you see any parallel in the intention of their music and the intention of your own, despite how different it might be stylistically?
To some extent, yeah. Because I think a lot of what they do is just meant to be like fun. It's meant to be a laugh. I think we try and make stuff that's just a bit fun. I think that's kind of the most important thing, actually. Like, if you can make music where when people listen to it, they're just having a laugh, then I think that's the end goal.
Yeah, I think as well you listen to 100 Gex and you can tell that they're just having a good time. You can tell that they're in the studio just clearly having the time of their lives.
Yeah.
And though we hope that we try and give off that same vibe as well, just because we are, to be fair, we are just there having a good time.
I think it kind of pays off as well, because if you're listening to a band and they sound like they're having fun, it's quite infectious. Like, I always find, like, sometimes, you're listening to a record and you can hear someone who is singing, like, laugh because, like, one of their bandmates has, like, took the piss in the studio. I think that makes it really, like, a lot more intimate, a lot better, especially when it's quite subtle and you can catch it, and it's like they're obviously, like, it humanizes it a bit. I think, like, not taking it too seriously.
What else do you feel humanizes your music?
I think there's quite a few things. Like, I think a lot of artists kind of like to go for a route with a lot of mystery, and kind of, like, especially recently, trying to, like, shroud away from, like, press picks and kind of come at it from that angle. I think we've always been very open and clean cut. Like, we haven't really tried to force or push an image. It's just kind of been whatever we've had at the time. I think that's quite good. I think there's pros and cons to it, because I think if you're kind of, like, overly personal as an artist, people can get a little bit too involved, and obviously that's why a lot of people have stepped back and done the more kind of, like, no one knows who we are route. But I think at the same time, it kind of enables you to have fans who are a lot closer to your music and actually care about what you're doing, who, like, say you release an album that was utter shit, they wouldn't just, like, go away at the first sight of that.
Yeah.
How chaotic would you say your music is?
I think quite. I think kind of what we're doing is we're coming at something from loads of different angles at the same time, especially in stuff that maybe we haven't released yet. So rather than just attempting to do one thing, it's often like a culmination of loads of different random ideas that we've had.
Yeah, I feel like we like come and go quite quickly. Like, we'll do one thing and we're like, right, that was good, and then we'll move on to the next thing. We'll see what else we can do, like what we can, like, get our hands on, just, like, to try with it and experiment with it, just to see what we can create, and if it's good, then great.
We'll stick with it.
Yeah, we'll stick with it. If it doesn't sound back up, we're like, oh, okay, then we'll move away from that.
Yeah, we're quite quick to get rid of stuff, actually.
True.
Like, I find, like, a lot of time we'll start writing something, and if it doesn't go well straight away, we'll get rid of it, then on to the next thing. I think it's good, but I think in terms of process, that's quite chaotic, because we're kind of constantly...
It can, like, take a while to, like, get things done, because if you start something and then you're like, oh no, that's bad though, and then you get rid of it, and then you start again, the process can take quite a while. Or you got something and you think, yes, this is great, and then you spend a lot of time on it to get it even better.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I'd heard you talk about your process before. You were kind of touching on it there, that idea of ideas being a combination, where you'll kind of create a lot of different songs and then kind of cherry pick the best bits from each one and put them together. Yeah,
it's kind of like we just write a lot of stuff. Most of it gets filtered out, but we just keep a lot of stuff back. And I guess if there's ever a situation where it's well suited to a song, so say maybe like we wrote something a few years ago and we didn't really like it, but there were a few lines in it that were actually good, we kind of strip it for parts and we keep it back. And then, maybe if there's a song in the future that, like, fits that kind of outro with a key change, or fits, like, a lyric that we wrote that in a song that got abandoned, we kind of keep good things back ready to... I think that also kind of works because it's like a process of selection. Like, you can look back at things you made a few years ago and think, well, I'd keep that, that's not as good, I wouldn't keep that. I think that's good, because, like, you can approach it with, like, fresh eyes. You can look at a lyric you wrote 3 years ago and think, well, I do like this enough to put in this song. It's held up to me, so other people will probably like this line.
When you're stripping a song for parts there, like you're saying, and you're using them for another track, how clear an idea do you need to have the meaning of the track you're working on in order to do that?
I think musically, it's quite important to know what a song should be trying to do. Lyrically, I don't think it matters. I think music-wise, how we kind of write it is we always have an idea of what a song should evoke or do. So like our usual process is if we want to make a song that's kind of like elicits a certain reaction from a crowd or from whoever's listening to our record, we'll make kind of like almost like a mood board of other songs that we feel as though achieve that with us, songs that we listen to, so you ever get that similar reaction. And then it's really clinical actually. I guess we kind of look at why that song does that. What is it about the song? Is it the lyrics? Is it the melody? Is it how they loads of different things? And then I guess we kind of take all that and then we build from the ground up to build what a song does. So I guess when we're stripping for parts, it does have to quite clearly fit in. So I guess there's like different categories of songs, and I guess they have to kind of be kind of similar, but sometimes it's fun to just mess with that completely.
I mean, on the EP you put out back in March? April, yeah. You have this kind of flow throughout it where basically, for the most part, each song leads into the next one quite effortlessly and it's one continuous thing. So from a sonic point of view, you clearly have that flow. From a lyrical point of view, what do you feel is the kind of connective tissue that holds those songs together?
I think all of the songs kind of stand on their own more so than as a suite. I think the connection of the songs leading into each other is more of a stylistic choice. I don't think there's much purpose to that. I think it's more like rather than being like a conceptual body of work, more the fact of just like cohesiveness. Like rather than it actually meaning anything, I think it's just always cool when you're listening to a song and it segues quite cleanly into the next thing. It keeps your attention. It makes you want to listen to music as a full product rather than as a single. If someone
the way we kind of saw this EP as we were writing it and producing it in the studio was we saw it more of just like a mini album than because a lot of EPs we were saying can just feel like a selection of a couple of songs that a bandmate or artist just kind of picked and put like, here you go, here's like a handful of singles or whatever.
It didn't make the album.
Yeah, it didn't make the album, so here's an EP. But we wanted a national EP to feel more like an album. In a way, and the way that an album might transition its songs into the next one.
It should be like a piece of work. I think people overlook the EP as EPs in general as a body of work. I think it's an important transitional piece as well, because like obviously like whatever album we're gonna release is gonna be way better than that, like miles better. But I think that's important. It's like you can see the step up from us releasing a few singles to releasing something that's a cohesive body of work, and then it's kind of like we've had a bit of practice with that now. So here's something that like triumphs that, which is our intention definitely. I think an EP is like a nice stepping stone because it's like it doesn't have to be 10 songs. It can be 4, and that's quite sweet. It could be a lot shorter. It gives you room to play around with those ideas.
I think you'd said previously too that you felt like Crass was the best song you'd ever written lyrically.
Yeah.
Why was that?
I think it's just generally because to me, like something just kind of clicks in my head when the song is finished, and like with like Pop Shop for example, I think I wrote that in about 20 minutes and I never changed it because I was happy with it. But whereas with Crass, it went through like 6 different names, it went through like 5 different sets of lyrics, and I was never happy with it. So it took me like maybe like a year and a half to finish. A year, I don't know.
How close were those 5 sets of lyrics, like topic-wise, and what they were trying to talk about?
Again, it's kind of like when we write, it's usually I don't really pick a theme. It just kind of happens, and whatever it's about. So I guess usually it comes from the song name. So we just have like lists of song names that sound cool, things that we'd want to name a song. And I guess you try and find some inspiration in that song name for what the song should be about. But ultimately, I don't think it really matters. I think it just kind of matters that it sounds good to listen to. If people want to kind of interpret it and read into it, they can do that. If people don't want to interpret it, then I'm not bothered, really.
I think with Crass as well, it's what a song about, but before it's one of those songs which we had and we're like, oh yeah, this is great, and so then we pushed it a bit further, and we like added this, and then I remember in the studio and you were like, well, how would this sound? What would it be like if we had this on us, and what would it be put in this and this? And then the song just kind of kept going, and the more we did, the better we thought it was. And so I think as like a final piece, the song, I guess it felt
more complete.
Yeah, it felt the most gratifying as
it took so long to do as well. Like, lyrically, I think it's like the lines stand up on their own. I think they do kind of make a narrative, even if it is loose. I think a lot of songs that are kind of like that we write, I don't really know what they mean, and then I look back and I kind of see where the perspective I was writing from now, because it's kind of like we kind of do it like puzzles. Like we just write individual lines. We just kind of like take things from, like random Wikipedia pages, YouTube comment sections from like books, from poems and stuff, like from adverts, and like build random things.
So can you trace back every reference quite directly?
Some of it is more like genuine songwriting. Like I just think of a line, I think, oh, that's quite clever. Whereas then quite a lot of them, usually I can track them back.
Where did the Take That line come from?
That was in there for quite a while, and to be honest, I can't remember why.
Yeah, I don't really know. I think there've been a lot of times in this band in which Take That have like been mentioned or been used in some kind of way.
Sorry, I can reference it back now.
Oh, go on.
It is actually it's self-referencing, because it does reference a song that we like didn't release that went on like a charity compilation. What do I say about
what do you say?
I've completely forgot. Something about Take That, and it kind of became a bit of a joke because we mentioned Take That in that song. So then like all of our bios on like Twitter became Take That cover band because we mentioned Take That.
Yeah.
So then I thought, okay, let's like flip it on its head a bit. And then I don't know, I did some research into that. I remember like asking my mum, I was like, were you a fan of Take That? And she was like, yeah, vaguely. I was like, can you tell me like the importance of all the different members? Like, is there a hierarchy? Like, where does Jason Orange fall in comparison to a Barlow or a Williams? Like, there's definitely a tiering system, isn't there? So that's why I went for Jason, because I felt like he's
I thought the line.
He's overlooked. Go on.
I've been playing it. I haven't, to be honest, really been paying that much attention to it. I've been playing the song in my head this whole time.
What was the lyric?
It's the start of the second verse. It's he just wants to make it till they get back together.
Yeah, I remember.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know why. That's one of those lines where it's like it's just kind of happened, and we've just it's an inside joke, I guess.
Yeah, we covered. That's probably Williams, isn't it? Yeah. That was
we didn't do Take That, but we were gonna cover Shine, but then we struggled a bit because I can't remember how far that got, and I can't remember how many years ago that was.
It's probably a long time ago. Yeah, like 2 years ago.
Yeah, and then I think we gave up and we covered Weezer instead.
You have a line on the first song of the EP, I think it's something like, that's not a hill I would die on. Something along those lines.
This is not my hill to die on.
This is not my hill to die on.
Yeah. That's another one where I just thought, to be honest, that song, like, I'd always wanted to call a song Grand National, and I really wanted to call the EP Grand National, so it's really important that I write this song. So I really worked on it, but I can't remember. That song was very like non-referencing. It was one of the only songs on the EP where I just kind of sat there and thought, how many things can I think about horse racing to get this down? And like most of it came in a day. I was like, that is sick. That's really good. I was really happy with that. I was really happy with the chorus. I wouldn't place a bet if you pay me. That's clever. That.
And then the 100 Gex reference.
Yeah, I remember telling you about that.
I do.
And you were like, oh, not that. Yeah.
What is a hill you would die on?
What, sorry?
What is a hill you would die
on?
That's quite a strong statement.
That's a hard one. I think Jason Orange is seriously overlooked in the Take. To be honest, now you've really got me wondering. I wonder what like actual Take That fans make of Jason.
We'll have
to inquire.
Run a poll.
Well, yeah, I'll think about a poll. Maybe like.
But that's unfair on him.
Go to a Take That concert and like stand outside with like a clipboard.
Yeah, that'd be good. Like some market research. Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah. Thank you very much, guys.
No worries. Thank you, pal.